Chapter 283. Although Hal Jordan had a lot of problems, such as being stupid, talkative, emotionally unstable, and so on, he could still listen to advice. He immediately followed Thea's instructions and conjured a large number of green chains, firmly binding the parallax demon. This guy's ring is extraordinary. Thea could not help but think when she saw this scene. Although the ring that Hal Jordan inherited from Abensul was not the first green light ring, as one of the greatest warriors of the Green Lantern Corps, Abensul's ring must be one of the best in his generation. Thea released the Parallax book. This book had absorbed a lot of the Parallax demon's yellow energy and had some new functions. The originally decorative chains of the book could also be released. With just a command and without needing to consume anything from Thea, the energy in the book would automatically activate and trap the enemy. 2 light chains, 1 green and 1 yellow, bound the Parallax demon tightly. Bang! Bang! Gunshots rang out continuously. Batman was standing on top of a building, holding his strange-looking gun and shooting at the Parallax demon. The bullets would produce some rainbow-like smoke at the point of impact. The Parallax demon, who was originally bound by the chains and struggling violently, obviously weakened its resistance. A hint of dullness flashed in its fierce eyes. What kind of F***king advanced technology is this? The thing about Batman was that you never knew what kind of strange things he could come up with. Perhaps inventing and creating things was one of his abilities. Since the enemy did not resist, the few of them naturally did not stop. Superman's big fists were punching the Parallax demon's head. Thea and Hal Jordan also conjured various weapons and greeted the Parallax demon warmly. Diana was the one with the most ferocious attacks among the few of them. It was not known if it was because of the happy occasion, but the Guardian bracelet sensed her intentions and strengthened her body with a strong will to fight. The invincible divine power was reflected on the Parallax demons through the sharp swords. Every attack was filled with dazzling divine light. The Parallax demons needed to use a large amount of fear energy to repair their bodies so that they would not be scattered. I am the Guardian. My strength and wisdom will never be defeated by a small planet like Earth. The body of the Parallax demon is no longer as huge as it was when it first arrived. Overall, at least 1/3 of its body has been consumed. Thea's yellow light ring has absorbed a lot of its essence, but she knows that the real test is coming. The Green Lantern Corps has produced countless powerful warriors throughout its history. In my long life, I've seen countless geniuses. Let them play with you. The Parallax demon took a deep breath. His gigantic body was completely rooted to the ground. As he accumulated power, the entire American continent could feel the tremors. The Inspector Fiend completely gave up on defense and allowed them to attack. One of his eyes had been blinded by Superman. It was unknown what energy Superman had attached to his attack, but no matter how much terror energy he used, it showed no signs of recovery. Ha! The Parallax demon opened its mouth and spat out countless meteorites and broken buildings. Among the rubble, there were a few green lights that were particularly obvious. This guy still had this trick up his sleeve? Thea quickly asked Hal Jordan. Her yellow light ring could not detect the Green Lantern Corps. The results of Hal Jordan's green light ring scan came out quickly. Gemini Kova, Green Lantern Corps Sector 2214, went missing 37,000 years ago. Carl Holtz, Green Lantern Corps Sector 269, went missing 110,000 years ago. Gareth Knight, Green Lantern Corps Sector 1129, went missing 2,100 years ago. A total of 5 Green Lantern Corps warriors appeared in front of them. They were still wearing the traditional Green Lantern uniform, but it was a little tattered. Their eyes were dull and their mouths were slightly open. Their bodies had been preserved by special means, but their consciousness was still stuck at the moment when they were trapped. The green light rings on their fingers were still flashing, proving that their consciousness still thought they were in a battle. The Parallax demon laughed like a villain. These people are the prodigies of their respective eras. I have preserved them. I often help them recharge their batteries. Haha, let them play with you guys. The few Green Lanterns who were reported missing seemed to have received some kind of signal. They each flew up mechanically and found an opponent. It was unknown whether it was lucky or unlucky. Uncle Batman, who was determined to be a great Earthling, also encountered one. With a whoosh, a seemingly powerful Green Lantern fired an energy bomb at him. Master's martial arts training was not in vain. He dodged the energy bomb with a beautiful somersault, and at the same time threw a bat dart at the Green Lantern. What followed was a violent explosion. Seeing this scene, Thea was relieved. Master's brain was undeniable, but the combat power of Earthlings was really no match for these cheats. Seeing that Batman could still exchange a few blows, Thea decided to quickly finish off her opponent and then rush to his aid. However, Batman was reassuring, but the one who was worried was another person. Ah! With a loud shout, Thea quickly tied up her opponent with a chain and turned to look at the sky. What she saw almost made her eyes pop out. Superman was pierced through by his opponent with a big green sword and fell to the ground, almost unconscious. Damn! Imitating the wavelength of kryptonite? Sure enough, he was an experienced warrior. This was not something a rookie like Hal Jordan could compare to. Superman's opponent was about to hit him again and completely kill this son of kryptonite. Although Superman had the talent of reviving after death, Thea could not watch him die in the hands of a nameless person who had been missing for many years. At the same time, she controlled the Parallax Book to control the opponent in front of her. She quickly blocked the opponent's fierce attack. Thea wanted to fight two people at once. The opponent's attack speed was extremely fast. In addition, he was experienced and had been controlled by the Parallax Demon. The suppression of the yellow light ring on the green light ring was non-existent. Thea also had to pay attention to the opponent controlled by the Parallax Book. It was extremely difficult for her to fight. As for Superman who fell to the ground, she could not care about him. Presumably, he would not fall to his death. Thea glanced at the ground. Just as Superman was about to make intimate contact with the ground, a figure flew by and caught the falling Superman. A little girl? Thea fiercely attacked a few times and forced the two opponents to retreat. Then she looked at the girl. Blonde shoulder-length hair and a checkered shirt. She looked like an ordinary city girl. She was 2 years younger than Thea. After the yellow light ring scanned her, she had a lot of data that was far beyond the average person. Moreover, she had a physique that could be charged by the yellow light ring. Thea understood. This little girl should be Supergirl Kara Danvers. She looked very young and did not have a battle suit. She flew over in ordinary clothes. Most likely, she had seen the satellite broadcast earlier. However, she should have some combat power. She would not be able to deal with the Green Lantern warrior. However, it would be good enough if she could help Thea restrain the Parallax Demon. Little girl, the big guy is fine. I'll leave the big boss over there to you, Thea shouted while pointing at the Parallax Demon that was chasing after Hal Jordan. Leave such a big guy to me? Aren't you guys thinking too highly of me? Kara Danvers opened her mouth slightly. She looked at the opponent that Thea had chosen for her in a daze. Chapter 284. The Parallax Demon stood tall with smoke swirling around it. Its huge face was dozens of meters tall. The future Supergirl might have the courage to face any enemy, but Kara Danvers, who was passing by on a whim today, was still a little nervous. She couldn't help but look at the Parallax Demon while complaining in her heart. Weren't these Earth Guardians thinking too highly of her? His first battle as a fledgling was such a heavy responsibility. Thea could naturally see that little Chow was obviously lacking in confidence. She clenched her fists and was somewhat eager to try, but more than that, she was nervous. She thought she was nervous, but she was still affected by the halo of fear. While dealing with the two Green Lanterns in the air, Thea had to explain the situation of the battlefield to her. It was not something that could be described as tiring. Little girl, can you hear me? Thea was afraid of being overheard by Batman and various state agencies, so she lowered her voice. Although they were far away, they should be able to hear it with their super hearing. In order to prevent information from leaking out, she also switched to the language function of the light ring and spoke in standard Kryptonian. Little Supergirl was surprised to hear the hometown dialect out of the blue. Kara Danvers had left Krypton at the age of 12. Unfortunately, he had entered the Phantom Zone where time had stopped. It had only been 4 years since he had arrived on Earth. Although she looked much younger than Superman, who had a face full of vicissitudes of life, they were truly siblings. How did she? Little Supergirl's expression changed drastically as she turned to ask Superman. Superman was sent to Earth when he was a baby. He learned the Kryptonian language later, so he did not have a deep understanding of it. Plus, he was seriously injured when he was hit by the Kryptonian wavelength imitated by green light. He looked dispirited and said, "This is the second time I have seen her. Her ability is strange, but she is not a Kryptonian. Can you guys hear me? If you can, just nod your head." Thea's light ring was more powerful than the two green lights, and with some magic support, she had the upper hand. She asked again when she realized that they had not responded to her. Kara Danvers nodded hurriedly. He thought to himself, "Can you see it from so far away?" Not to mention, Sia really could see. With the help of the yellow ring of fear, the Eye of Horus had undergone a transformation. When Kara Danvers glanced at it, he felt as if he was facing a giant wild beast. He could not help but shrink his neck. "I'll keep it short. These green guys are the bane of the Kryptonians. I'm sure you've seen it. I need you to restrain that smoke monster. The green guy it's attacking is on our side. The other 5 green guys are our enemies. Don't fight with them. Just restrain them. Do you understand?" "Oh," little Supergirl replied with an "oh." She instructed Superman to recover on his own and flew towards the Parallax Demon. Although she was still suppressed by fear for the first time in battle, Thea's eternal night had also strengthened her. Overall, her strength was slightly stronger than usual. Holding down the Parallax Demon and beating it up, Hal Jordan, who had been holding up the Courage Shield, was released. The talkative Green Lantern almost couldn't stand still. Originally, he was far away, and being a long-range attacker didn't have much of an impact on him. However, the Parallax Demon wasn't stupid either. It looked for the easy targets. After releasing the 5 Green Lanterns, it immediately went for Hal Jordan. Facing the fear head-on, coupled with Thea's discriminating barrier, the Green Lantern could not even use 30% of his original strength. If Supergirl did not help him, he would be the first to die. Originally, Thea wanted him to support Batman. However, when she saw that he was almost paralyzed on the ground, she knew that she could not count on him. Fortunately, Diana showed her power at the critical moment. She grabbed a Green Lantern with 3 arms with the lasso of truth and smacked his head off with her shield. The remaining Green Lantern was also blasted into pieces by the great divine power guarding the silver bracelet. The so-called strongest warriors of the 2 Guardians were no match for her. It was unknown whether the 2 corpses had already run out of energy. The moment their lives ended, they turned into ashes along with their rings, dissipating on Earth far away from their homeland. She, who had good tactical knowledge, immediately judged that despite the support of the Nightwing, Batman was really struggling to hold on. Although Thea was 1 against 2, she had many tricks up her sleeve. She could definitely win against the 2. She made up her mind to support Batman first. Batman, who had received her support, completely retreated. He was sweating profusely. He was highly focused and almost used up all his tricks. In order to cover him, the Nightwing was pierced through his stomach by the green light energy. Blood gushed out. Batman ordered the Batfighter to transport him to the rear for treatment. The 3 male compatriots, Superman, Green Lantern, and Batman, all left the field while panting. The situation on the field was a little strange for a moment. Diana, who was the strongest, was dealing with one of the opposing Green Lanterns alone. It was a complete one-sided slaughter. Thea, who was in the middle of the pack, was dealing with 2 Green Lanterns. Both sides exchanged blows and had the overall advantage. On the other hand, the inexperienced and unconfident Supergirl, who did not even know how to shoot heat ray, was beaten into a sorry state. The Parallax Demons would occasionally shoot out yellow light beams from their mouths, sending Supergirl fleeing in all directions. Little Super's awareness was not bad. She knew that she only needed to hold this big guy back. Her flying ability, which was not very proficient, was rapidly improving. She constantly interfered with the Parallax Demon's attack route, but she just did not fight it head-on. The equally experienced Green Lanterns also gave up on attacking and focused on holding back Thea and Diana. The situation was extremely anxious for a moment. Catch! The Green Lantern, whose mind was blank, deactivated his transformation and threw his ring at Thea. He did not understand the rules of the ring. He only thought that Thea had worn a green ring before. Now that she had another one, she could strengthen her attack and perhaps break the situation. However, Thea, who caught the ring, was a little hesitant. Medicine could not be taken carelessly, and rings could not be worn carelessly. In the future, there would be a lot of people who wore 2 rings or even 7 rings, but today, at this time, 2 rings were really unprecedented. Should she wear it or not? While dealing with the fierce attacks of the 2 green lanterns, Thea was in a fierce struggle. If others can wear it, then I can too. Her instinct told her that she should wear it. Finally, she made up her mind and put the green light ring on the middle finger of her left hand. The moment she put on the ring, Thea's mind was blown. The whole world was revealed to her. Tall, thick, and rough buildings filled her vision. Perhaps other light ring users could not see what it was, but Thea immediately judged that it was the end of this universe, the barrier of the whole world, the wall of origin. There was a lot of debris on the wall, including space dust, broken stars, and the powerful beings who were trying to find the world behind the wall. Legend had it that the Yucca Khan, who could destroy the moon with a single glance and destroy an entire civilization with a single glance, was stained on the wall. However, the ring only glanced at it slightly, and it had no intention of revealing all these secrets to Thea.